Man, I just finished watching the Penguin series and this show was so amazing. I fucking loved it. I loved everything about it. Growing up, I was always a DC fan, and seeing projects like these, even in my adulthood, satisfy me. They make me so happy. Like, it feels like, it's one of those projects where I feel like DC is finally stepping up again, but I don't put my hopes up because how bad DC is at handling live action adaptations of any character, for that matter. Even Batman, I mean, he had a lot of stinkers, let's be honest. Like, I mean, Batman versus Superman, does that count? I mean, yeah, it kind of does count. It was a... That's not why I'm here. I'm not here to talk about Batman versus Superman. I'm here to talk about the Penguin, and I fucking loved everything about it. I love the characters, the character arcs of most of the characters, and even though every fucking character here, don't get me wrong, right? You can sympathize with them, but the show does very well at reminding you why every fucking one of them is a piece of shit. You feel for someone like Victor, right? The Penguin's right-hand man. He seems like a nice guy. Like, why would you hate that guy? What makes him irredeemable? He's such a nice guy, and he was here circumstantially, and he is just a good guy who was forced to survive, right? Yeah, man, nah. At first, you're like, that makes sense. It makes sense to think of him that way, but then the show does something to remind you why he's a bad guy. And yeah, it's the same with Ozzy. Most people who read the comic books or have, seen animated shows from the past or, stuff like that, they know who the Penguin is, but this is kind of like a deep dive. It's a better version, in my opinion, than the Penguin from the Gotham show. Don't get me wrong, I fucking love that interpretation of the Penguin, in my opinion. Like, that was kind of cool as well. But this one is kind of better. It's a deeper dive in the sense that you get to see where this character is coming from, why he does the things he does, what motivates him as a person, and his insecurities and anxieties. You get to know where they're coming from. And a lot of his antagonists in the show, we also get to see that, especially Sophia Falcone. It was a good performance from the actress who plays Sophia Falcone, and Sophia Falcone's story is so fucking tragic. I feel like she also falls under the same category as Victor, right? At first, you believe that she was forced by her situation to become a bad person. That's what you think at first, and it makes sense at first. But then as the show goes on, you're like, wait a minute, what are you doing? Yeah, but either way, most of these characters, similar to Sophia and Victor, are victims of trauma. That is a reason for why they end up doing the things they do, but I'm not saying it's an excuse for who they ended up becoming because of that. It's not an excuse, it's a reason. I'm giving you a reason why they're bad people. I mean, why they were once good people who were forced by their circumstances to become to make decisions. The decisions that they end up making is what makes them good or bad. And consistently in the show, the people you always feel for, they just, when it comes to that moment to choose whether to go one direction or the other direction, they always choose the wrong one, and that's what sets them apart from a good guy. They become villains because they always choose the wrong option when it comes to the end of that horrible, traumatic situation they were in, because they're filled with so much anger and hate. That's Sophia's example, and I guess Victor's example is mostly filled with fear and a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. He loved his neighborhood to the point, it's kind of like a peacemaker situation where you love peace so much, obsessed with the idea of peace so much that he would do literally any heinous act to achieve that illusion of peace. Similarly with Victor, in my opinion, he does things to fulfill his delusion or illusion of a neighborhood that is, I guess it's his value. He values where he comes from, to the point where he would do literally anything to keep that neighborhood alive. In my opinion, any sane person, any good sane person would just leave that neighborhood, in my opinion. I'm sorry, because it's a bad neighborhood. It is, sure, it is, a community can help revive that type of neighborhood, but I mean, it's Gotham we're talking about, bro. It's kind of irredeemable. He had a chance to leave that life behind, right? But then he turned back. Just watch the show and you'll know what I'm talking about. I loved, obviously I loved Colin's. I love Colin's version of the Penguin. He does a really great job as an actor to play that role. It's a very good interpretation. The show also doesn't feel cheap. I mean, I guess you could say that about a lot of shows these days, to be honest. Like, since past the CW era, a lot of shows have like kind of improved in terms of how they look, even though I don't know if I have no idea what the numbers on the budgets are, but it doesn't look cheap, and the writing obviously is also not cheap. It's pretty good. I mean, there's just so much. I'm trying to gather my thoughts. There's just so much I loved about this show. Oh, and the ending. Oh my god, bro. That ending needed to be the way it is in order to make that point clear about who Oz really is. That shit needed to happen, man. Fuck, bro. It definitely needed to happen. And of course, the aesthetics of the entire show is consistent with the one in the Batman movie. It's pretty consistent and it looks pretty neat for the show. I mean, the movie looks better, obviously, but it doesn't look like there's a dip in quality at all. It's pretty consistent with the movie in terms of aesthetics, even the writing, the overall theme. It's pretty consistent with the movie. So, in conclusion, overall, the show is amazing in its character development and the different layers of the personalities of these characters and their motivations. It's a very complex interpretation of the famous Gotham villain, the Penguin. And I highly recommend it to anyone, and I'm not going to give it an exact rating. I think ratings don't do a justification to actually explain the show. Peace out.